I had always been a skeptic, someone who scoffed at the supernatural and dismissed ghost stories as mere figments of imagination. But everything changed the night I saw the devil. It was a cold, rainy evening, the kind that makes you want to stay indoors and curl up with a book. I was driving home after a long day at work, the rain pattering against my windshield in a steady rhythm. The road was slick, and the streetlights cast eerie reflections on the wet pavement. I was only a few miles from home when I noticed a figure standing by the side of the road. At first, I thought it was just another pedestrian seeking shelter from the rain. But as I got closer, I realized something was off. The figure was unnaturally still, almost as if it were a statue. Curiosity got the better of me, and I slowed down, peering through the rain to get a better look. The figure was tall, dressed in a long black coat that seemed to absorb the light around it. But it was the face that made my blood run cold. The face was pale, almost ghostly, with sharp features and deep-set eyes that seemed to glow with an unnatural light. The eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a chill run down my spine. I couldn't look away, even though every instinct in my body was screaming at me to drive away as fast as I could. The figure smiled, a slow, cruel smile that sent a wave of terror through me. I could feel the malevolence radiating from it, a palpable sense of evil that made the air around me seem heavy and suffocating. Suddenly, the figure began to move, slowly at first, then faster, until it was right in front of my car. I slammed on the brakes, but the figure didn't flinch. It just stood there, staring at me with those glowing eyes, its smile growing wider. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I was frozen in place, trapped by those eyes that seemed to pierce through my soul. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure was gone. Just vanished into thin air, leaving me sitting in the middle of the road, drenched in sweat and shaking with fear. I don't know how long I sat there, but eventually I gathered the strength to drive home. The rest of the night was a blur. I barely remember getting out of the car, stumbling into my house, and collapsing on the couch. But I remember the dreams, vivid, terrifying dreams of that figure, chasing me through dark, twisted landscapes, its eyes always watching, always waiting. The next morning, I convinced myself that it had been a hallucination, a trick of the light and my exhausted mind. But deep down, I knew better. That figure, whatever it was, had been real, and it had seen me, just as I had seen it. In the days that followed, strange things began to happen. I would wake up in the middle of the night to find my room freezing cold, even though the heater was on. I would hear whispers in the dark, just on the edge of hearing, voices that I couldn't understand but that filled me with a deep sense of dread. Objects in my house would move on their own, small things at first, like keys or a book. But then, it escalated. One night, I came home to find all the furniture in my living room rearranged, as if someone or something had been in my house. The dreams became more frequent, more intense. I would wake up screaming, drenched in sweat, with the image of that figure burned into my mind. I started to dread going to sleep, knowing that it was waiting for me in the darkness. I tried to ignore it, to convince myself that I was just being paranoid. But the signs were there, impossible to deny. And then, one night, I saw it again. I had just fallen asleep when I woke up to the sound of whispering. It was closer this time, clearer. I could make out the words now, though they made no sense. The room was pitch black, but I could feel a presence there, standing at the foot of my bed. I didn't want to look, didn't want to see what I knew was there, but something compelled me to open my eyes. And when I did, I saw it. The figure was standing there, just as before, its eyes glowing in the darkness, its smile wide and cruel. But this time, it wasn't just watching. It was reaching out to me, its hand stretching towards me with long skeletal fingers. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. All I could do was watch as it came closer, its fingers inches from my face. And then, just as it was about to touch me, it spoke. Its voice was low and guttural, like the growl of a wild animal. "I've been watching you," it said, "and now you're mine." I woke up with a start, gasping for air, my heart pounding in my chest. The room was empty, but I could still feel its presence, lingering in the shadows. I knew then that it was only a matter of time before it came for me. That figure, whatever it was, had marked me, and there was no escaping it. I haven't slept since that night. I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see it, waiting for me in the darkness, its glowing eyes and cruel smile haunting my every thought. I know it's only a matter of time before it takes me, but I can't bring myself to run. Where would I go? It would find me no matter where I hid. So I wait, knowing that the next time I see it, it will be the last. Because I saw the devil, and now the devil sees me.